Good afternoon and welcome to Sunset Rewind. We have a process going on where we have a podcast interview with every coach, boys volleyball coach in the Sunset League. We're really fortunate tonight to have Newport Harbor's coach Patrick Eaton in his first season with the boys at Newport Harbor. My name is Charlie Brand. My partner Taryn Rodriguez is here with me, and we're excited about having Patrick here.
I'm fired up too. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Glad you could make it.
You know, you've got quite a coaching history, and people don't really realize that you started coaching at a young age, and I've watched you the whole way.
Sure.
And been on the bench with you and everything. So, you had a great run at Toro High School with boys and girls, great run with the girls at Santa Margarita. You've been coaching Balboa Bay very, very successfully for a long, long time. Well, how would you describe your coaching style?
Coaching style, goodness. Well, loud, probably more than anything else. But I think, 20 years ago, you're aging me the way you said that. You made me sound way older. But 20 years of coaching. I think if you saw me coach the first 5 years, it was aggressive and loud. And really, it was the same way I was coached when I was a kid and the same way I was parented. I would say that more than anything else.
Yes.
You know my parents. And it was a loud environment. But I think the last 10 years especially, I think coaching is teaching kids and using the sport to allow them to flourish and feel confident. And with that, it takes a positive environment more than anything else. I think that has changed a lot. I think kids need that more. I think there's no doubt about that. So as loud as I am, I had the same conversation with the guys today. If I'm gonna correct something or challenge you to try and change something when you do it right, then I'll be the first guy to get most fired up and excited for you. I think that's what we all hunt down as coaches, is trying to find that connection with kids. And I think, especially with the high school athletes, the last 5 to 10 years, you need that connection. If we're gonna, if I'm gonna coach the way I coach on the sidelines and loud and get after it, but at the same time, I like having, it's fun. I love it. Every day's a new day in that gym, and it's exciting. It's a blessing to be around those kids. So why not show it?
That's a smart transition. That's where those old school coaches, the ones that are smart enough to understand that and change how they're teaching and what they're teaching. Has it helped coaching with Dan Glenn? I know you guys
without a doubt.
Without
a doubt. Dan, and he's a great example of that. It's like, when I was in high school and you watched Dan coach and he was red-faced and on that sideline and that has changed so much. He coaches a girls club team with me right now, and watching him connect with those kids is incredible. And it's all those years of coaching, and to be able to still have that in your bag is, they all know that one of their biggest allies is bigs. And I think part of that is he's such a great father. He's a great father. And when you're a great father, you in most cases, you're a good communicator, and he's a good coach. So being with guys like him and watching his evolution as a coach has allowed me to kind of look and try and figure out, okay, what would I want at that age? What did I want at that age? And I liked an aggressive coach, but I also liked a coach who told me they loved me. And I try to tell the kids that as much as I possibly can. So
both of you two are so charismatic, and once you get to the point with your players where they understand your caring and your faith in them, and understand to listen to the words, not how it's presented.
That's right.
That you really have something to say.
Yeah, and accountability is key. I think that's it's positive is great and all those things, but at the same time, it's what we all learned and loved the most from sports is learning to be held accountable and how to deal with success and failure. It's the best way to learn how to do it is through sports. I've always just thought that's what I got from sports, and so the more I can pass that on, the better.
People don't realize it's really real.
For sure.
You got to do this or you will not be successful, and that's how it works.
And I think too, it's like it's different than even when the last 10 years when every kid's walking around, they got a computer in their hand, and it's instant gratification. And so with sports, nothing is instant gratification. It takes work.
You can't just input something?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I wish it'd be a lot easier, 100%. So it takes some guidance sometimes to let kids know, like, hey, look, we're going to fail. That's the way it goes. But nothing teaches you more about yourself than failing. I don't think so. And then that allows us to be successful the right way. So, yeah, it's been good.
You've got 6 returning players from last year's team, 3 starters from last year that started significantly. You've got a nice group of young kids coming up. How do you see the strengths and weaknesses so far in just a limited time? You've only been together a couple of weeks.
Well, I think the one thing that even before I came to Newport, if you played Newport, you knew you were playing skilled volleyball players, whether it was the girls or the boys. They knew how to play. But I think this group especially is competitive and they're tough. I think a lot of those guys have had a lot of success, whether it be at Newport Harbor or on their club teams. They've been in some tough situations and been through some wars, and so they're confident and competitive in practice. And those are my favorite guys to coach.
Sure.
Guys that come in and you run a set of lines, they want to be first. They stretch, they want to finish first. And so we've got a group of guys like that, and a lot of that comes from those seniors. I think guys like Henry Clemo and Tyler Pence and Zach Tamayo, like those 3 guys especially, are so competitive every day. They're competitive amongst each other. And then when you add in, John Hohenstein and some of these guys that are playing at a really high level right now, I think toughness is key to that group. Toughness, competitive nature, and then all those boys have grown up and known each other for so long that they're able to hold each other accountable and no one takes it personal, which is awesome. So it's been fun.
That's how public schools are supposed to be.
Yeah, you know what? That's the best part about it. As a kid who went to Santa Margarita, I love being in
being in a public school.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just they've got an edge to them, and so do I. And so it's fun. And we're going to need that this year. We're going to need it. So.
Well, I know last year at the Junior Olympics, the 17s group from Balboa did really well, both in the open and the club. And you've got a lot of those kids now on this team. Yep. Your coaching staff. Let's go back to your team.
Yep.
Give us some. If you were to start today, what would your positions be? Pence is going to set.
Yeah, we're still battling. We're looking at next week, obviously, but. Tyler being a returner and a senior, and with the success he's had, which is awesome. I think anyone who knows Tyler, we were kind of joking about this the other day. I remember him being in the gym when he was a 13, 14-year-old kid, and he was short and undersized and glasses on and was a baseball guy. And now it's like you watch him in the weight room. You watch him run a ball down. You watch the way he talks to his teammates, whether they're seniors like him or sophomores that is their first year on varsity. He gets leadership. He understands, and that heavy's the head that wears the crown. Like if I'm going to be a guy who's going to police the gym, then I got to be on point every day. And I think he does a great job of that. So Tyler running that offense is going to be good for us. And then the big thing is the middles. If there's another team who's got depth in the middle as much as us, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that doesn't happen much.
It's wild. I think most volleyball coaches would say we all spend so much time trying to find more middles, and I got more than I can handle right now. And so, Zach Tamayo he's such a stud. He's so athletic, smart volleyball player, skilled. And so having him in that gym, and then Mott's is awesome. Mott's Aarons. I never got to coach Mott's, and I had heard things, especially from Dan Glenn, about how competitive he is and how smart he is. I mean, we're talking about a guy who wants to go to MIT. I mean, super, super smart guy. And so his physicality in the gym has been awesome. John Owenstein, just a big boy. And these guys are not just big, but they play to the size. It's like you've coached how many big guys that didn't play their size. And those 3 guys really play to their size and make demands of themselves that are awesome. And then when you add Hudson Mann, who's a sophomore, and has a great club season this year and played for me as an 8th grader, adding him into that mix, those 4 guys are going to war for 2 spots right now, which has been a lot of fun. And maybe one of those guys finds himself maybe playing on a pin. We'll see. Right. And then, on the pins, you got Henry Clemo, I love Henry. Yeah, he'll run through a wall for you. Yep. Just a physical dude. He's been an animal in the weight room. And
another charismatic guy.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Big time. And he's been like that forever, And was
born that way.
Yes, 100%. And a two-sport guy. He's playing only volleyball now, but it's nice having those guys that have bumped into someone on a basketball court and that kind of stuff.
That was you, right? You bumped into a
I
few
tried
guys.
to. I had brothers, so I think I got that more from having brothers more than anything else. But and then you add Alex Wick, who's just only gotten better and long and is getting better with his ball control and that's just a good group of guys. You know what I mean? And then we've got some guys that are finding their first year on varsity, whether it's Laird Stoneman, who's been doing a great job, and physical dude, another guy who's just an animal in the weight room.
The Stonemen have a long history.
He's a
Newport
worker
Harbor.
too, and he's one of those guys. He doesn't really need the shine. He just shows up. He's a blue collar kid. Just shows up with that kind of attitude every day. And then we got some young guys in there. Wesley Full is coming on. He's doing a really good job. And the sophomores in that group, and Henry Katz is libero, who's also on the. All three of those guys are teammates on a really good club team right now.
Right. And Fell's dad was a real good player at Corona Del Mar.
That's what I heard.
And his mom was a really good player at El Medina and then UC Santa Barbara.
Well, the apple didn't fall far, I can tell you that, because he's been doing a great job. And you know how that is. It's like those sophomores get in the gym with those older guys, and the first couple of days they take their lumps, and now they're really starting to shine. And then Max Rogers is awesome. Just an awesome dude. And I've been lucky with, a lot of those guys play at the club, play at Balboa.
Right.
And so I've been able to watch them grow up. It was the difference between the girls and the boys was a lot of the girls didn't really know me, and there was a feeling out process, where with the boys, day one, we all knew what was going on. They knew what they were getting into. They knew, what kind of practice I want to run, what I want to do, what the non-negotiables are. We have that conversation a lot. And so those guys came in just with an understanding of, if we're on a mission. We're on a mission, and we want to get better, and the mission is to do things right. Wins come from doing things right.
Having been involved a little bit with Balboa Bay, I know one of the important things we try to do is have really good people in the junior high.
For sure.
And you do the 14s every year.
Always.
And that's why the high school kids come in ready to play.
They can't move me. I make the joke all the time. I can speak the language. Eighth grade boys, I get it. So
I've been there with you. I've seen you.
Yeah,
you
know how
can't
it is.
speak
You
the
know how
language.
it is. So, but it's a good group. It's been a lot of fun. So
that's exciting. Your coaching staff, you kept everyone around. Huh?
Yes. Well, anyone who's going to put up with me, I should hang on to as long as I possibly can. I think my wife would say that. But Matt is awesome. Matt Johnson is great. And again, I said it in the fall. I think with the situation last year with him having to take that boys varsity team, that's only made him better, and he got thrown into a tough spot and did a great job getting that group into the Division I bracket, and they got hot at the right time. So I think that experience has been great for him. And then, having him on the sideline with me in the fall, we've really learned how to work off each other. And you know how it goes. It's like personalities match, and he's smart and a little more direct and a little more. His tone's much different than mine. No, I don't think a lot of people have the tone that I've got in the gym sometimes. But so having him to kind of counter me and my craziness and chaos, sometimes it's nice to have a guy in there that can kind of calm the heartbeat a little bit.
Sure.
So having Matt's been good, and Sam Rice is
my girl.
She's great, and she only gets better every day. And the kids love her, which is kind of the main thing. I think, talking earlier, having a connection with the kids, she's as good as it gets. And so having her with that group is with JV, and then she's coming in and helping out with varsity a lot, and her old coaching only gets better every day. Mark Pick, the legend,
He was a great player.
He
I'm telling
is.
you, right? In the 70s, he was the guy.
There's no one better. I make the joke all the time. He's the true head coach of the program. All the things he does for me, it frees me up to stay focused on the volleyball stuff. But to have a guy who's really, he understands the heartbeat of the community and what the expectations are around here. So having a guy like that is great. Every time we have a meeting that's supposed to be 20 minutes, we end up hanging out for way too long. But so having a guy like that is awesome. And another guy that just the kids love him. Kids love him. And then Jody Brown. Jody's got the frost off, and she did a great job in the fall with the girls, and she's doing a great job to start this year. As you know, freshman boys are tough, and she does a good job of getting them to follow her without, again, just a different type of tone, a different tone. And then we added Dylan Rubio, which you knew Dave, and
know
he
his
was
dad
coach of U of A forever, and
great coach, great guy,
and
better guy.
he's been coaching with me on the club team.
Yeah.
And so he's playing at OCC right now, so we're lucky to have him in the gym. He's going to add just another experience and a young guy, which is good to have. I think it's good to have a guy who, he remembers being in high school and grinding the way these boys do.
Well, especially with freshmen.
100%.
There's a big transition going on.
100%.
Thing of looking back at Mark Pick, a big thing now in collegiate football or whatever is to have the general manager,
Right.
which you thought was only for pro sports.
Right.
Well, then you start to realize, well, that's what I look at Mark Pick for you. He's the general manager who just lets you coach.
Yep.
And he takes care of all the
And
other
just
stuff.
having, it's one thing to have a guy like that, but then, like what you said, to have someone who's also has the volleyball knowledge tapped in is great. And then he's just involved with everything. His son is coaching basketball at Newport right now, and so he's at the basketball games, and he knows kind of everything going on around town. And it seems like half those kids are his neighbors.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
if something happens in the community or something happens with that team, I found immediately from Mark. So it's great to have a guy like that. He is truly, and I said it at the girls' banquet, he has been as important to our success as anyone else in that program.
Right.
And to have him it's a blessing. It's a blessing. So
Well, I think also the faculty leadership at Newport Harbor is really supportive of all sports.
For sure.
And they're supporting what volleyball does all the time.
Without a doubt.
With you in the leadership. Your season schedule kicks off here really quickly.
Yeah.
This Saturday, Valentine's Day no less, at 1:30 is the Alumni game.
Yes.
First time in years they've had that. There's a quite formidable group coming back to be involved.
Firepower in the list. There's no doubt about that.
A lot of players have known for a long time, and I'm excited to announce it and watch it and make a few jokes.
And Dan's going to coach the alumni group, so
Dan Glenn on the coaching, and it'll be a lot of fun.
it is.
And then you just lead right into the Newport Corona game.
No big deal.
Yeah,
No big
first
deal.
real match of the
I know.
season.
Talk about getting thrown into the fire
Yes,
in
we
your
are.
first match. And right after that, you've got the Redondo Costa tournament.
We were getting into the wars early. I unfortunately for Katie and I both, it was just the schedule was packed and we had to move game just because we're kind of playing in the same tournaments. And it just so happened the only date we can get it going was kind of the first week. So I think both of us are in a tough spot, but that's sports, right? Adapt and move forward. And
Both
so
you guys have teams that are pretty well moldable. They know
For sure.
where they're going, what they're doing, and so that'll be exciting. It'll be exciting what the second match looks like.
yes, it is. And we know, like, Katie's such a good coach.
Yep.
She's such a good coach, and what she's done at Corona Del Mar has been spectacular. And so, what better way to kick off your season than to know that we got to be good right now. We got to be good right now. So that's a really good team, really, really good team. So we're fired up for the opportunity.
I look at your tournament schedule. I mean, you don't take any easy tournaments.
No.
You got the Redondo Miracosta tournament early. Best of the West is always a great tournament, and then in memory of our great friend Rocky Chirelli, the Rocky Chirelli Challenge against Redondo at Huntington Beach. That'll be another good matchup.
For sure.
Don't they also have the Tesoro tournament as well?
That's right. And we're doing Tesoro tournament, so
It's a homecoming for you.
it is. Yeah, I Rich just does a great job running tournaments, and I've always loved that tournament because you get a lot of the South County teams. It's a lot of the teams, to get the San Clemente's and the Edisons, and obviously we're going to see Edison a couple times this year, but to get them in a tournament and to get down there and kind of see everyone at the same spot is awesome. And obviously the San Diego tournament is a battle, and everyone knows that. I think that's the best boys high school tournament, and it's the most talented tournament and the deepest tournament. Right. So every match you have is going to be tough, and it's good for the boys to travel to and kind of get used to that. And then it's the same thing with the Redondo tournament. It's like we want to see the best teams out of LA and prepare ourselves, and we've got a Loyola on the schedule a little later here, and so to kind of get a peek at them and the Miracostas and those teams up in that area is going to be good for us. So, and I want to I've always kind of, to steal something from Rich Polk, I like getting tournaments early. Let's get out there and really challenge ourselves physically, and then kind of get focused on league as we start moving forward.
Well, I think it really strengthens your mental focus.
For sure.
You have to play in a tournament,
right.
match after match after match, and it builds on that. In the Sunset League, obviously, a lot of us think it's the toughest league maybe in the United States,
Yeah.
from top to bottom. And I know maybe it's your first time through the actual league with the boys. Give us a little rundown on what you think of those teams.
Well, the teams are one thing, the coaches are another, right?
Yes,
I think that's what makes the league so special is the caliber of coaching in the league. Yeah, you have coaches that are competitive and do their homework and work and understand what it takes to win and understand what it takes to be good every night consistently.
And have done that for years and years.
For sure. You know, so and as a coach, that's what you want. You know, you if you're a good chess player, you want to play with the best chess players. I'd like to think I'm pretty good, and so not at chess. Not at chess. My goodness.
I was going to say,
but you know, whether it's Craig or Trent and Katie, and I mean, those three especially, like, especially growing up, watching Trent. My younger brother played for Trent, and
Trent Jackson.
Trent Jackson and Craig Bazzani. Those two especially. I mean, those guys have been to the top of the mountain. They know what it's like to be successful, and they're great at it. And then obviously Katie's success her last few years, she's just done a great job. And then, you know, and she knows what it's like to be in this area better than me. I don't think there's any doubt about that. That's it. And so she's just done an incredible job. And then Coach Tony now taking over at Los Al is just only going to make that program even better. And he's just a good coach. And so, and Marina's been coming and getting better every single year.
Ryan
So
Parker.
it's no easy matches, you know, it's no easy matches. I think that's the understanding being in this league is that, you know, I try and tell the guys, you want to play in college. Playing in college means you got to be ready to play every day. Playing the Sunset League, you got to be ready to play every day. There's no cakewalk. So it'll be tough.
That's when I first started coaching at Irvine, the UC Irvine, the men. You know, I was used to playing in the normal league where you really gear up for a couple of teams,
Sure.
and the rest of them you just show up basically.
Right.
And you know, men's volleyball, no, you every night you better be focused and
100%.
prepared, or you get kicked. And now the Sunset League is like that.
For sure, which is great because and then, you know, and we want every team in that league to be successful. It only makes all the rest of us better. And you know, it's the same thing in your gym, right? Your team's only as good as the guys you can train against every day. And your league is only as good as the teams that can battle and butt heads with each other every day. And the league is just getting better. I'm lucky to be a part of it. And we're going to have to be ready to go every night. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Well, the answer man, my friend Taryn, will tell you how many teams went to CIF last year.
6.
Crazy, right? It just lets you know how good it is. So, but we're excited for the opportunity, and it's the one good thing is, you know, we got a lot of seniors, and those guys understand what it's like. So, you know, I'm going to be leaning on them, kind of the same way I leaned on the girls in the fall, and it's going to be on us to show up and do our best and represent ourselves the best we can every night.
I would not want to forget the importance of the Battles of the Bay.
Sure.
You've got one coming up next week on the 18th against Corona Del Mar at Newport. And then on March 31st, you're at Corona Del Mar. And those are always, to a senior that's been watching this probably since 5th, 6th grade.
For sure.
That's kind of the ultimate in their high school season.
And it's big for the community.
Yep.
You know, I think that's the coolest part of being a part of that rivalry is there's not a lot of schools that have that. You know, I've been a part of volleyball for a long time, and it's hard to recreate that type of environment. And now that you're playing them twice, it's just it's really tough. But it's so awesome for the kids to have that type of spotlight and have it on those two schools and this community, which is just awesome. And it's just a great opportunity for those guys to shine. And, you know, everyone says you want to play your best when you need it most. Well, on those two nights, you need it.
Yeah.
And the teams that don't show up, usually it's a fast night. So.
And they no one forgets about it for a long time.
I tell the boys that. It's like, you know, and it was the same conversation we had with the girls. It's, what's the look you're going to get when you walk into the burger joint after you win or lose, you know? And then the kids think about that. And so it's fun to be a part of it, and I can't wait for the opportunity. It's going to be great, and we've got all the respect in the world for Corona Del Mar, all the respect in the world for Coach Katie, and we know that we're going to have to be ready to go. So,
one season I was coaching at Corona del Mar, we lost 2 5-gamers to Newport Harbor in the battle. 2 15-13
Sure.
5th gamers.
Sure.
And then we won the state championship. So we didn't win the city championship, but we
Right.
won the state championship.
And I'm sure you had
didn't
some
win a
people
match
that would
once.
probably trade it to have it.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part about it. It's like
Right.
for us, and you got a goal to win the Sunset League. You got a goal to win CIF. Well, that's a CIF championship game right there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
environment. That's the environment, and it's cool. Just all those kids hang out together, and so. They're all be talking to each other, I'm sure, all the way up to the match, and the coolest part is too, and it was the same way in the fall, is the class surrounding it too. I think with the girls this year, Max and I have known each other forever, and I love Max, and I got all the respect for Katie too, and so it's fun to kind of to know that for those couple hours there, we want to take each other down, but. There's respect and love there, and I'm excited to get it going on the boys' side. So it'll be fun.
You talk about all the boys on both teams knowing each other. That was before the social media days.
Sure.
You can
Yeah,
imagine
you're right.
what it's like
You're
now.
right. That
with
is
social media.
That
running
is so
crazy.
true. That is so true.
Crazy thing is that you might actually see CDM more than once. That there is
Yeah.
the possibility where you could see them in the Redondo Miracosta tournament. You could see them in Best of the West. You even could see them in CIF.
Sure.
Charlie mentioned that his Battle of the Bay teams or CDM teams lost Battle of the Bay in 5 sets. Well, 2018, Newport Harbor wound up winning twice against Corona del Mar. They were undefeated going into the CIF Southern Section Division I Championship, and then they lose a 5-setter to Corona del Mar 15-13 off of a missed serve, which I'm 99% certain haunts that Newport Harbor team to this day. But they made up for it the following year when they wound up going 39-1 and winning the CIF Southern Section Division I Championship and SoCal Regional Championship with Rocky.
That's kind of the best part of that match, right? Is that it only sharpens you. It only sharpens you. You need good teams to kind of sharpen yourself, and there is no better team to play against than Corona del Mar. So it's going to be fun. It'll be a good one this year for sure.
What's really exciting about it is because they don't play the JV and the frosh soft at the same time.
Right.
They stagger it, frosh soft, then JV. So the JV are playing a lot later than they normally play.
Right.
All these people are showing up early to get a seat for the varsity. So now JV is playing in front of the biggest crowd they've ever played in front of.
It might be the biggest crowd you could get at a JV team in the county.
Exactly.
It's
a great teaching moment
for sure
for those young men. Taryn, what else do you have? Try not to get too factual and too exact on stuff.
So I actually do need to know, the Sorority tournament is that 2-day tournament or 3-day tournament?
It depends usually on how many teams he's going to have in it. I know, knowing Rich, I'm sure he's still adding teams. He's had years where it's for sure it's Friday and Saturday. For sure it'll be those 2 days.
When is that? I don't have. That's not on the.
I think it's a couple weeks. I got to take a look. You're rushing me now.
It's the 27th and the 28th.
There we go. Yeah, and so sometimes he's done playoffs or the semis and the finals on a Monday night to kind of showcase it a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, I remember.
So he did that. We've done that before, but we'll see. I know his plan is to hopefully try and get it to that, and that's again, it's another opportunity for the kids to get a little more shine and to get to play on it. Rarely do we get to play on Monday nights, and late in the year with the scheduling, we end up having to. So it's nice to kind of get a little experience playing on a Monday. But he does such a good job with that tournament. So either way, we'll be ready to roll. And
he's run a couple tournaments. Huh?
he's done it a few times. He's all right, I guess. I literally talked to him on the phone on the way over here, so I'm sure he's getting that thing going. So
yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is, if it's on a Monday, if there is going to be the championship Monday, then you already know I'm going to be PA announcing the semifinals, the third place match, and the final. So that's something I need to know. I also want to backtrack and talk about Tyler Pence. Sure. So Tyler Pence, if there was one game that I remember he really shined in, it was the Redondo Union game in the playoffs, where he had 4 service aces, one of which actually wound up clinching a comeback third set, which eventually they rode the momentum to winning set 4. Talk to me about Tyler Pence's growth.
He is as improved a player you can get over like a 4 to 5 year span. Whether it's his game and his skills or his physicality, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But the best part about Tyler, he's a great teammate. And so And nowadays, those guys are getting harder to find. The guy who's one of the best players in the gym and then treats everyone like he's just in the middle, it's hard to find. And I think, and now just his evolution is now just the leadership, and he's just fallen into that. It's made my life easy. I can tell you that. It's nice to have a kid like that who we're scheduling right now around basketball, right? And basketball's in the CIF playoffs, and so I'm having dinner with my wife, and I'm getting text messages from Tyler about what's happening with the score. He's just one of those guys, and so. But his game, he's big when your team needs you most, and you kind of hinted at that. It's like his serving in the playoffs last year. I've heard that was just incredible. I watched him play in that championship with his 17s team. And he got the last 2 blocks to seal that thing out. And it's special when you get to see a kid who puts in that much work and kind of get to reap the benefit of it. And so it's been special, and I'm lucky honored to get to coach him his senior year.
I've spent some time with the Pences. Devin played, his sister.
Love Devin.
Devin's awesome.
Yeah.
And a lot of time in Hawaii, and you go down to have breakfast at the Outrigger at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And Tyler, in 7th grade, still already has his volleyball out. He's sitting to himself, sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
He probably sleeps with his volleyball.
For sure.
And anybody like that, as you know, they
he's a dog. And I can't emphasize it enough. He's just a good young man. Yeah. I think that's the best part. It's like we've all coached. I know you have. It's like, hey, you've coached great players, and sometimes you go, I wish he just had, wish the tone was a little different sometimes. But he gets it. He gets what being a high school athlete is, and he gets it. It's a grind, and he's had to earn it. That's the best part. We're not talking about a guy who was kind of, given a lot. And when it comes to our sport, he's had to earn the respect of his teammates and earn the respect of the game, and now the game's paying him back, which is the best part. It's awesome.
Interesting. I was at the UCI USC men's volleyball match last night.
Sure.
And USC has a great player who we all know, Dylan Klein, and he is like, as you say about Tyler. He's the guy with a smile on his face. Sure. He's the guy picking up the other team. He's the guy bringing his guys together when they need it. And it was just watching him, which I've seen him play a lot of times, and it was just really, really enlightening.
Sure.
And as you speak about Tyler, I can see that.
It's you know what, and it's what we talk with the boys. It's like, what's your legacy? What's the legacy when you leave behind? What do people say when you're 4 or 5? We got alumni coming in the building tomorrow, and what will those guys say when you're that age, when you're coming back in the building? What does the coach say? And he's that kind of guy that, a lot of guys can hit a volleyball. A lot of guys can set a volleyball. A lot of guys can do that kind of stuff. Who can do that stuff and be a great young man? Who can do that stuff, be a great leader, be a good student athlete? Tyler's that kind of guy. And so his legacy is going to be set in gold, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So I can't say enough about him. It's been a joy coaching him, and it's been a joy to watch him, again, just reap the benefit of all the hard work that he's put in and sacrifice. He's just worked his tail off to get to where he's at. So I'm excited for his senior year.
You know who will be here for the alumni game? One of the legendary guys from Newport Harbor volleyball.
Sure.
He'll be the oldest guy on the alumni team, Dr. Amin Mirhadi.
Okay.
And he played all 4 years, and he now is the #1 pediatric oncologist at UCLA. And he's a number of our people in our community have had things go wrong, and he's reached out and helped them get through things, reached out for them.
That's awesome.
Including Dan Glenn.
Right.
And now he'll come back. But his funniest story is his senior year, the alumni game. Well, the alumni were good.
Oh, yeah.
And they hammered the varsity. And the next morning I looked in the newspaper, and the report was, Newport varsity beats alumni. And I read it, and I go, what? And then I right away said, Amin Mirhadi. He had called the paper and told them the varsity won.
I love that. It'll be like that's same thing tomorrow. That alumni team, there's some dudes in there that can play, and some guys that I'm excited to see. Some of those guys I coached when they were 14, and we had a lot of success, and it was fun watching them go through high school and now a part of college, and it'll be awesome to be wearing the same shirt and watch them come back and hopefully give a little knowledge to the young men in there. So it'll be fun.
You can get in the huddle and go, we sailors are pretty good now.
It is fun to say, I can tell you that. I'm lucky. I'm a lucky man.
Yeah,
So it's been
that's
good.
awesome. Well, thank you, Patrick, for taking the
appreciate
time.
I actually had one more thing, and I actually do gotta apologize to you, Charlie. I actually cut you off when you were talking about the Rocky Chiarelli Challenge. What's it gonna be like for you to partake in the Rocky Chiarelli Challenge with Newport? Because you're playing Redondo Union, and all the teams that Rocky coached, Edison, HB, Newport, will be partaking in it.
Yeah. While I was coaching at Toro, we were lucky to play in that a couple times. And Rocky, like most of us, is a mentor and was a great friend. And as I came up coaching, he was the guy. He was the guy in more ways than one. I have some awesome stories of just being in a restaurant with Rocky and just keeping my mouth shut and letting him go. And I'm lucky to be a part of those. And I remember back in those moments sitting there and being in those, in a restaurant, and it's Rocky and Dan Glenn and Travis Turner and Rich Polk and all these guys. Those are the guys, including you, Charlie, that I looked up to, and to be sitting there and kind of go, do I belong here? No, am I supposed to be sitting here in this spot?
Rocky made you
He
feel
did.
like you
He was
belonged there.
family, right?
Always family.
And no one told a better story.
Yeah.
If there's any doubt about that.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is I unfortunately never got to play for him, but I know a lot of guys who did, and to hear guys talk about Rocky, so any of us who get to coach in that match and those boys who get to play in that match, we're lucky, and I think Craig does a great job putting that whole show on and getting the shirts to the kids and keeping Rocky's legacy going. He was just, volleyball is full of characters. It's the best part of our sport. It is full of characters and full of stories, and there are few better characters than Rocky. Yeah, Rock was the man, and so we're blessed to get to play in it, and we're lucky to get to play against a really good program in Redondo. Coach Norman does a great job with that group, and so we're excited for that opportunity, and we'll probably run into them at the tournament here as well. So we'll get a little bit of a peek of them, but we're excited for it, and I'm excited I want to be a part of that tournament and attached to his name as long as I possibly can. So we're honored. We are honored to get to play in it, and we're lucky that someone like Craig Pisani runs it, and obviously Rocky was really special to him too, and so that'll be a fun day. It'll be a fun night. So yeah.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well said.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for that. And if you don't have anything else you want to add, Charlie?
Go ahead, Taryn.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat Eaton, for being part of this little season preview. We greatly appreciate you. And that'll do it for this preview. Charlie, amazing job leading the way as always. Wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. Thank you to the man behind the glass, Cole Menzinger, for producing this. Also, shout out to the rest of the Sunset Rewind crew in James Krupe, Nate Gervin, Max Pickup, and Murphy Cargis. Make sure to log on to sunsetrewind.com. We don't just cover volleyball. We cover all things like football with me as well as two others in the fall. We cover flag football. We cover basketball, soccer. Spring sports are on the horizon, not just volleyball. So keep an eye on that as well. Please follow us on social media on X, Instagram, and TikTok at sunset_rewind. And make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. With your help, we can definitely make it happen. We would greatly appreciate it, but we greatly appreciate all your support. And yeah, take care, everybody.